Guys, this is Abhay back again. And in this video, I'm going to talk about the deployment server. What exactly the deployment server? We already know deployment server is considered as a configuration management tool for Splunk. It means it requires or it is helped to push the configuration file to all the deployment clients, right? In a bulk. Let's say you have total 40 indexes and I have to create an index in all the 40 indexes. What I'm supposed to do, you know, right? How to create the index. Either I go to the front end of all the 40 indexes and create the index, or I go to the back end and I will go to a location and edit the indexes.conf, writing 5-6 lines, and then I'll come out, restart. It's a hectic job. So instead of doing this in a bulk, I'm going to create the configuration file only once, and then I'll push it from the deployment server to all the deployment clients. This is the entire story, right? So let's see how it goes. So what I'm going to do here first, deployment server, right? So let's consider the deployment server. I'm going to create the deployment server. HF is going to be my deployment server. Example, I can keep any component as a deployment server. There's no hard feeling. So HF is going to be my deployment server, or you can also take SH, search it also deployment server. Anything is fine. Anything is fine. So let's take search it as a deployment server. Fine. So first of all, what is the thing which I'm going to do? Number one by one. Number one, create an index called deployment server index. Okay, DS index in both the indexes. Now, do the proper parsing in the HF. At least line breaking. That's it. Okay, that is should line merge. If you remember, should line merge. Got it? Now, so the first thing what we have to do, we have to create an index called DS index in both the indexes, because you know we have total 2 indexes. And the second one thing is, and the second one is we have to do the proper parsing in the heavy folder. In the parsing, you know, right, what needs to be done. In the parsing, we just have to write the should line underscore line merge equal to false, right? So this is what we have to perform. Now, after these two things are performed, what is next? The next is onboard the data from the UF to DS index file, index, right? Onboard the data from the UF to DS index. Fine. Got it? This is what I'm going to do. And onboard the data from the UF to the existing index called next. This also will do. So let's see how we can perform these tasks using deployment server. This is really going to be damn interesting, guys. Now, search it is a deployment server of mine, right? So I'll go to the search it here. First of all, I'm going to, okay, how can I go for the deployment server? Like, how can I create it as a deployment server? First of all, I have to go to settings, and there's something called forwarder management. So from the UI, you will not have an option called deployment server. Instead, you will have an option of forwarder management. So if I click on here, you will see nothing. I don't have any option to create or to add something. No, there's no option, because What is written here? The folder management UI distributes deployment apps to Splunk clients. No clients or apps are currently available on this deployment server. So it means this I'm going to create as a deployment server, but no apps or client has been added, right? So what I'm going to do, the first thing, I'm going to create an app. I'm going to create an app. So manage app, create app. I'm doing very slowly. You should understand this one. And then what I'm going to do, I'm going to create a name here. Let's say, fine. So if you look at my requirement, the first is I have to create the index. So I'm going to create an app, create index. This is the app name, create index. Okay. Forget about author description. It's okay. And keep that as bare bones and save. Now create index got created, right? So what I'm going to do now, I'll come to the deployment server. It means search head. It has not yet been configured as deployment server. It is still a search head. So where is the application? Guys, it is very easy. First of all, I have to create an app and then I'll go to the etc apps folder. I will see create index app is present here. It's a bare bone. We don't have any configuration file inside it except the app.conf. So what I'm going to do, I'll move this one. I'll move this one here, move in Linux, move in the sense I am going to cut and paste. Got the point? So I'll just cut from here and I'll paste it where? etc deployment apps. Okay, /opt/splunk/etc deployment -apps. I'm going to put enter. If I put enter, if I do LS LTR, not here, I have to go. Yeah, so if I do LS LTR, I will not have the create index application here because it has already got cut and got pasted there in that location. So let me go to that location, etc deployment apps. All the apps must be kept in here. Okay, all the apps must be kept in here. Now you see create apps. Now in this app, let's go inside to see what we have. We have all the directory structure. Now we have local. In local, we have nothing. We have only app.conf. I've already told you, right? We'll have app.conf, except that we'll not have anything. Now here I have to create indexes.conf. Indexes.conf. So let me take the sample indexes.conf from the indexer. Like, how does it look like? You got the point? I mean, what needs to be written in the configuration file. So just a sample, just a sample. For the sample purpose, I can go to this apps, search local. I'm gonna copy these lines from here to here. That's it. Not frozen and cold to frozen direct, right? This we have already learned. I mean, how to retrieve the data after putting the data in the archival mode. So these two things will not be taken, only from here to here. I'll just take it and I'll put it in the notepad++. So from here, what I'm going to do, what is the name of my index? My name of the index is DS index. Exactly the same. Let's say the customer has given me that requirement to do. Okay. So I'm going to put on here. 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 Did you get that? DS index, DS index, DS index, DS index. Leave the other thing as it is. Now copy the entire stuff. Copy. Come to the deployment server here in the local. You remember here, local. Create indexes.conf. Indexes.conf. And then this one. That's it. This index, right? So the app got created. So the app got created with the indexes.conf in it. Fine. Now I have to add the client to the deployment server. I have to add the client. So except this search head, because search head is a deployment server, I'm going to add indexer 2, indexer 1, HF and UF all as the deployment client. All as a deployment client. So what I'm going to do, let's start one by one. So let's connect UF as a deployment client. Okay, so first of all, I created the app in the deployment server. Now I'm going to create the deployment client. UF, HF, indexer 1, indexer 2, all will act as a deployment client to the deployment server. I'm going to add this now. Okay. So bin deploy poll, and then what is the internal IP of the search head? The internal IP of search head is 1 second. So what I have to give /Splunk set deploy -poll, and I have to give the internal IP of the deployment server, the internal IP of the deployment server, which is this. Okay. Oh, I'm so sorry. By mistake, 1 second. It did not get copied or what? Yeah, and :8089. This is a management port. Enter. Now I'm going to give admin. Now configuration updated, right? So UF has become the deployment client to my deployment server. So the same thing I'm going to do, in all the other, servers. Sorry, guys. Bin. Enter. Okay. Now 2 more. Okay, and 1 more, last. So I'll have total 4 clients for this deployment server. Got it? Now, so I created the app and kept it in this location. This is the first thing I did. And I made or configured all the other components as a deployment client. Fine. Now let's go to the deployment server from the front end. So these are 2 things I did. Now I'll go to settings, and deployment server is known as folder management from the front end. So I clicked on here. You remember last time when we clicked, we had nothing here, right? But now we have got the different interface, and you see app 1. So we have, deployed 1 app. So this is an app 1. Now slowly it is taking the client name. It might take some time. So now it was showing 0. Now it's showing 1. Now 2. So I'll have 2 more, right? So I just have to keep on entering here. So it takes time to get the client added. Okay. So you have to give some time. See, it is 3, and now 1 more. Yeah. So all the 4 clients have got added here. Indexer 1, indexer 2, heavy folder, and user folder. Got it? All the clients have been added here. Now 1 app is also added here. Now what is my first task? My first task is, guys, this is really going to be damn interesting. So my first task is create an index called DS index in both the indexers, right? Now I'll go here. This is app. I'll click on app edit. Okay, I'll click on restart Splunk D. Why I'm clicking on restart Splunk D? Because after the app gets deployed in the deployment client, the Splunk service should be restarted in the backend so that it will reflect. Server class, we have to create a server class. So let me tell you one thing. What is server class? Server class is nothing but a place, but a configuration file in the deployment server, which will have the mapping, which app should go to which client. So this mapping will be there in the server class. You got the point, guys? which app will go to which client. I may have 10 apps. I may have 40 clients. So which app I'm going to deploy in which client? So that mapping will be there in the server class. Okay, so server class is that configuration file which is found in deployment server. So when we see everything from the CLI, then probably I'll show you that there is a configuration file called serverclass.conf, which will be created in the backend in the deployment server, in which you'll have the mapping between the apps and the client, So I'm going to click on the server class. Just name the server class index creation. Okay, creation. Any name it can be. Save. Now you have not added any apps. I'm going to add the apps. Don't worry. So which app? This app. As I said, server class is nothing but it has got the information of the mapping between the app and the client. So I just added the app, save. Now you have to click on here, edit. You have to click on restart Splunk D. This is a must. Again, you have to do this. If you don't do this, then what will happen? Your app will be deployed to the deployment client, but since the restart is not enabled, so it is not going to affect, right? So restart has to be done. Now save. Now come to the server class. Okay. Now come to the server class. You click on edit, then edit client, because so far what we have done, so far we have added only the app in the server class, right? Now that app will be deployed to which client? In order to do this, we have to come to edit client, this option. Now here we have an option of whitelist and blacklist. In whitelist, what happens? Let's say I want to add index, right? I mean, I want to create the index in the indexes. I'll take this and I'll do like this and comma, then indexer 2, I'll just get the IP and I'll put it in here. Then I'll go for preview. So the moment I click on preview, you see those two checkbox will be here, tick mark. It means, yes, these clients are found here and we are ready to go. Now, sometimes what happens, you have 20 indexers and you want to deploy the app only in 5 indexer. Example. So in that case, what will happen? In that case, what will happen? You are going to write something like this. Example, I will do like this star. If I do star, it will match up all the 20 indexer. Let's say I have the same, the first 3 octets are same, only the last octet is different. So instead of writing all the IP one by one, I'll keep like this. So it is going to match all the 20 indexer, but out of 20 indexer, I don't want to push my application in the 5 indexer. So all those 5 indexes I'm going to write down here. This is a blacklist. You got the point? So this is a blacklist. So my data, my app will be deployed in all the 20 indexes, but immediately it will see that, oh, 5 IP address are in blacklist. So out of 20, the 5 indexes will be in blacklist. So except this blacklist IP address, it will go and deploy the application in all the 15 indexes. Got it? So this is a concept of whitelist and blacklist. So for the time being, let me give the whitelist, everything in whitelist. If I have multiple, then comma and this one. Okay, preview. Now here I'm going to save. Save means I have already pushed it. Now you see 2 deployed. It's so fast. You got the point? Enter. There is no deployment error. Now 2 deployed. So if the app is already deployed, how will you get to know? I'll come here in the indexer 1. If the app is already deployed, the deployed app will be shown here in the app section, etc apps in the indexer 1. Now you see, still I don't have the app here. We'll see why. If it has been deployed, then etc apps. Yeah. So in indexer 2, we have got Did you get that? It takes some time. Don't worry. In indexer 2, we have got. Let me check in indexer 1. In indexer 1, it is still not showing. So yeah, now see, it's showing. Earlier it was not showing, now it is showing. So if I go inside, I'll see local. In the local, if I go, indexes.conf is there. Now you see DS index. So this we have seen from the backend. Now let's go to the front end to see whether the index got created or not. So how will I check? Settings, indexes. Wait, it's coming. The restart is happening. You got the point? This restart is happening. We have checked on the restart Splunk, right? So this restart is happening. That's the reason it is not coming up. So we'll check again that after some time. But for the time being, let's check indexer 2. Okay. We are on indexer 2 from the front end, settings, indexes. And what is the name of this? DS index. You see DS index got created. Yeah, in indexer 2. I have not created this manually. Okay, I created this through deployment server. So it got created. Very good. Here also, if I put enter, now see restart is done. So I got the UI back. Enter. Who is this guy? Sorry. Now I'll go to settings, then indexes, just for the verification. DS index. Now see, I got the deployment server index, right? Now, so first job is done for us, right? Now the second thing is do the proper parsing in the heavy forwarder. At least line breaking, should line merge. Do the proper parsing. Now, how do I do the proper parsing? So for doing the proper parsing, I will create another application, right? Now I'll come down here. I'll click on here and manage app, create app, parsing tech. Okay, parsing technique, parsing tech. Okay, so I'll keep everything as it is. The same thing I'm doing. I'll just come in the backend in the deployment server. So let me rename this as deployment server also. Otherwise, you'll get confused. Deployment server. Okay. So here I'm gonna come /opt Splunk etc apps. I'll move this to where /opt Splunk etc deployment apps. Right. I'll move it here. I'm in deployment apps now, right, guys? In parsing tech, I'll go inside. I'll go to the local. Then I'm gonna have props.conf. Simple props.conf. What parsing I'm gonna do here? I'm gonna give the source type name. Let's say DS source type. Okay, and I'm gonna give should line merge equal to false. Now I have to keep this in mind because when we create the inputs.conf, I have to give the same source type, right? So let me put that here. You got the point, guys? I have to keep the same source type when we create the inputs.conf. So what I'm doing, DSST should underscore line merge equal to false. Done. Now done. Let me check props.conf. Should underscore line merge equal to false. Fine. Now I have to deploy the same. So what I'm going to do, I'll click on settings. Folder management is so easy now. It's just like a cup of cake for you. I'll go to app and I'll click on edit. Check this one, server class, new server class, parsing. Parsing data, anything you can keep it as save, add app, parsing tech, save. Now click on edit, click on here, restart Splunk D, save, and then passing tech. Now you have to come on server class and passing tech. You have to click on here and edit clients. You have to add the client. I'm going to do this in heavy folder, right? So this one. Now you keep it in the whitelist and then preview. So if you do the preview, it will come in heavy folder, right? You can see here in the heavy folder, it has got the tick mark. Now save. Now you see one got deployed, right? I'll put enter. One got deployed. It's showing here in the passing tag. How will I verify? I'll go to the heavy folder from the backend, right? And I'll go to it, opt Splunk etc apps. Now it has not come yet. It might take some time. It has not come yet. You see, okay. Where is the passing tag? It takes some time. Don't worry about that. I'm putting enter again and again because it's restarting in the backend, right? And heavy folder takes time to restart. So let me write a small script in order to find this one. I think by the time I write the script, the restart will be done. Oh. Passing tag. I got passing tag. Very good. You see, passing tag. Okay. So we have got the passing tag also, right? And if I go to the passing tag, you see, there's a local, and in the local, I could see props.conf. So DSST is a source type. Now it is amazing. I'm onboarding the data, but not directly going to the server and configuring it. But yes, through the deployment server. This is really going to be very interesting for everyone who is learning this. Now, the second part is onboard the data from the UF to this index in the indexer. Okay. Now guys, I should have a file in the UF, which I will deploy. I should have a file in the UF, which I'm going to deploy, right? So let's say the file name is deployment server file.txt. File has to be there, no? And you need to know the location of the file as well as the file name. So hi, today I am gonna deploy the file through DS. I am very excited. Thanks a lot, Abhay, for such a wonderful training. Okay, so it is in temp and ds file.txt. So I'll just keep that here. All the information I'm going to keep it here. Temp, this one, right? Now onboard the data from the UF to DS index in the indexer. This is the next one. So what I'm going to do, I'll go to a deployment server again, manage app, got the point, create app, onboarding data. I'm going to put that here, onboarding data, right? And then save. App got created. What I'm going to do, I'll go to the deployment server. The same thing I'm going to do, /opt/splunk etc apps. I'm going to move this onboarding /opt/splunk/etc deployment apps, this one. And I'm going to go there. You see, deployment apps, onboarding data. So I'll go to the onboarding data. I'll go to local, right? and I'm gonna create inputs.conf. Monitor ://tmp/ we have to give this path dsfile.txt. You got the point. See, instead of writing in the universal folder, I'm just writing in the deployment server. That's it. Index equal to, I have to give the same index name. Don't mess up with the things, man. The index which you created, you cannot give any index of your own. The index which you created, right? And source type equal to the source type which you have created in the heavy folder. The source type which you have defined in the heavy folder. Got it? So monitor : / and / tmp/dsfile.txt index source type spelling sourcetype. Fine. Okay, so I'll just see that once. Fine. Now what I'm going to do, you know this, right? Is pretty easy. I'll go to here and the settings, folder management, app tree, onboarding data, edit, restart, server class, new server class, data onboarding, okay, add apps, onboarding data app, right? Save, edit, restart, Splunk D, save, come to server class, on data onboarding, click on edit clients. Now from here, universal folder, right? So I'll take this one, preview, so it is there, save. Now it has got deployed. Sorry, it has got deployed here, one deployed. Okay, now I'll come to the universal folder. Now you see the magic. I'll come to the universal folder. What is happening? Splunk folder, etc apps. After going there, see onboarding data, it has come immediately because the restart. Okay, so it got deployed and now the restart has taken immediately. Right now, if I go to onboarding data, local, I'll see inputs.conf file in which I have this one, right? And if you see the content of the file, obviously the content will be there. Fine. Now, the final thing is I must see the data in this index from the search head. This is my search head. I must see the data. So let's see. Hope for the best. Finger crossed. Yay! I could see the data and see the proper parsing has also happened. Okay, all the lines are in a separate event. So this is known as deployment server. Deployment server is deploying the application to the deployment clients. Now in that application, you can have more than one configuration files in it. I have kept only one configuration file, but you can put many configuration files in it, right? Now the real concept is, in the deployment server, what is the configuration file name, which does all these stuffs? We have done everything from the front end, but what is the name of the main configuration file in the backend? Now we will come to that point. In the deployment server, you have to go to /opt/splunk etc app, etc system local. Now you could see server class.conf. Server class.conf. If I write server class.conf, you see here. Wait, let me open in VI, then only you'll understand. Server class, this is a server class name, index creation, and app name is create index. Now restart Splunk web, restart Splunk D, and state on client enabled. It means this app is enabled. Now this is a server class name. What are the IPs are in whitelist? You got the point. If you have to do the same thing from the backend, you can do this like this. Then again, you have a server class, again, which are the whitelist data. So this is the way you can define the relation between the app and the client in the server class.conf. You got the point. So server class.conf will have the information that which app is going to be deployed in which client, which app is going to be deployed in which client, right? Done. Now in the deployment client, which configuration file you will have created? etc system local, and here you will have deployment clients.conf, deployment client.conf. Here you will have the information of the deployment server 8089. Got the point? Wherever you go, even if you go here, you will find the same thing. etc system local deployment client.conf will have the deployment server IP address 8089. You got the point, guys? So I'm not going to perform this thing, onboard the data from the UF to the existing index called next. You don't have to do anything, or do you want me to do this one, right, guys? So in that case, what I'm going to do, I have to put the data in the existing index. So what I'm going to do, existing index. So let me show you actually. So my existing index is next. So in next, I don't have any data, right? So do I have any existing index called next? Let's check first. Yeah, I have next here, and I have next here, right? But I don't have any data. These are my indexers. So I just checked. Yes, they exist, but there is no data. So what I'm going to do, I will go to the backend deployment server /opt/splunk etc deployment-apps onboarding data and local, okay, and then vi inputs. And what I'm going to do here, 1 2 3 vi p. Now here temp next file. Remember, this file I'm going to create, okay, with some data. I'm going to create this file. So just have that in mind. Okay, in temp. Now here, the index name would be next. Okay. And let's say the source type remains the same DSST. The source type remains the same DSST. So this is what I have created here, right? Fine. Now I'll go to the universal folder, and here I have to create that file, right? Which file I have to create? I have to create this file. I have to create this file. Hey, this is next data. I'm happy. Only 2 lines. That's it. So I'll just next data. Fine. So my data is available in the UF, and I've configured the onboard data app also. Now what I'm going to do? I can do the same thing from the UI. Okay, I can do the same thing from the UI as well as from the backend. So let's do it from the UI. So if I go here, I have to go to folder management, apps, onboarding data, edit, click on that, save. Server class. So what is the server class I have? Data onboarding. I'll click on here, client add. Okay. I'm going to do that again. Sorry. Go for the preview. After I do the preview, I have to click on save. So save in the sense I'm deploying it again. Okay, guys, save in the sense I'm just deploying it again. So guys, so this is from the front end. Either I can do from the front end, or I'll go to the deployment server. I'm revealing the secret how you can do the same thing from the backend. I mean, how you can push the configuration files after you edit. So I'll go to etc Splunk bin from the deployment server, and then reload deploy server. Enter. Asking for the username, password, the same password which I put during the installation. Reloading server classes, right? So all the server classes, it has started reloading it. Now, if I go to UF, now you see, if I go to UF, you remember we have apps under this. Under this apps, I have onboarding the data, and then I have a local here, right? In the local, I have inputs.conf. So this inputs.conf should have 2 lines, and now, yes, it got updated. Earlier, I had only these 3 lines, but now these 3 lines also came here. So it got updated, and I'm expecting the data here in the front end, in the search head. So if I click on here like this, let's see. Yes, I got the data. I'm happy. Yes, this is next data. And see DSST. So this is how I achieved all the stuffs, guys, one by one. You have seen me doing this practically, and this is deployment server. Okay, so a deployment server can only deploy the configuration file to the deployment clients in a bulk. It cannot upgrade, write a script or downgrade or put any commands instruction to the deployment client. That's the reason people are using third-party configuration management tool like Puppet, Chef, Ansible, SaltStack, and other stuff, right? So since we are using Splunk, that's the reason in order to take care of the configuration stuff in a bulk, we use deployment server. I hope you have really learned a lot from this training, and guys, thanks a lot, and we will keep meeting with such kind of wonderful video. So till then, stay tuned with us, and happy splunking.